G'day. So what I'm going to be doing today, and probably partly tomorrow, because I want to take my time with it, and I've got things to do as well. I'm replacing the radiator, the compressor, and the TX valve. Purely because to access the compressor and belt, I need the radiator out of the way to give me ease of access there. I'm also going to degrease the area first. Once the radiator's out of the way, give it a good degrease so I avoid getting any rubbish into the lines. In case you're wondering why I'm taking out the cowling system first before emptying the radiator, because I want to get to the top of the radiator hose and pull it out from the top. What I'll do is take the cowling system out first, then I'll loosen the hose from the bottom and then pull it out from the top so I'm not underneath the car when taking that hose off. There's no easier way to do that with the original radiator. There's no tap on the bottom that you can just let the water out first and save it. You lose some, but then you can save some as well. But I won't be reusing that. It's liquid intelligence coolant. I'm going to put some more liquid intelligence coolant back in it. I'm not going to reuse it, even though they say you can reuse it. It's browned up because of the radiator flush I put in before. Clip them. So just press clip. Remove the four 10mm bolts from the condenser that's going to the radiator. Okay, I am skipping a step because I've got a front cooler for the transmission. You're going to have to unbolt them from the radiator as well. See, I've got mine just hanging, they're doing nothing. I've got one here that's cut and the other one here that's cut because they're not connected to the transmission line anymore. But you just unbolt them. You're going to have something under the car to catch probably about 50mm, not a lot drops. Just make sure the car's rested for about 20 minutes before removing the radiator. And you don't need to worry about topping up the transmission. Just disconnect them and tie them off somewhere so they're out of the way. So now I've got to degrease it. Just thought I'd mention this. The Superchip got a special on, 3 for $10 on this particular degreaser, and yeah, first time I've used it and it all foams up and looks like it's eating away at all the grease and crap, so I'll just let that settle down and give it a blast. Hopefully it cleans up everything really well, but I've got brake parts cleaner as well, just to spray a bit around the compressor there, make sure it's all nice and clean. Okay, I'm going to remove the air filter. The whole box, so you got 1, 2, 3, 4, and a mount that you need to undo. Come on, there you go. Okay, to take the belt off, I'm just using a ratchet and the trolley jack bar just to get a bit of leverage on that. Yeah, you just see it just like that. Not hard at all. To take the connection off, it's a reverse connection. You don't press it to take it off. You get a screwdriver in there or in there and just make it come out. You can get a screwdriver in there, probably the proper way to do it. Get a screwdriver in there, pull it down and take it out. I'll just take that off there. Now there's a couple of ways I could do this. I could take the connection off there first at the back, or I could undo these 4 bolts first to take it away from there, which that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to separate the back part after so I can get more degreasing behind before unbolting that back piece. I've got the bolts loose already, all but one. This one's out, but the two bottom ones can't come out because they're just too long. And also use a decent socket, a 6-sided socket. So this last bit here, it's got the guides there, so just push against the guides to get that last bolt out. Just put that there. I'll bring that aside there because I've got the one bolt on the back there that needs to come off, that 10mm bolt at the back. But I want to get in there with some parts cleaner and just give it a nice clean first, that last bit. You ever use a throttle body cleaner? It comes with this hose here. That put your spray in there, you put this down the throat and clean all the carbon out. Keep a hold of that hose because I find it very useful to put on the degreaser or parts cleaner, and that allows me to get behind like this. So I'm not going to be cleaning this tomorrow because I don't want everything to be wet. I'm doing it now. Just, yeah, keep a hold of that hose. You need to have the system discharged first because my system right now has got high chill in it. It's a charged system. I can release that into the atmosphere because it's environmentally safe. If it was Freon, like R134, then I'd have to have someone else discharge it first so it's done properly. That's why I use this. It's also really cold and the pump doesn't have to work as hard with this, so therefore also saving fuel for the colder air. It's just, you know, it's worth it. I reckon it is anyway. Each to their own, but that's definitely the way I go. Just want to show you here, I had to put the compressor back on with one bolt just to undo that bolt at the back there, so I had to crack it and then get it to turn first. Now I can take it off. It's just that was really tough, and again using a 6-sided socket just to make sure that I don't thread it. Okay, so I had to get the right tool for the job. Now I went to Repco, Super Cheap, Bunnings, and they all sold cheap brands, and the reviews on Tool Pro from Super Cheap was not good. It was terrible actually. The only place I found that sold a 19mm flare nut spanner was Bolt Barn, which they sell in Milwaukee, and I thought, you know, I need it, and they're a good brand, so definitely get that. However, I thought they were made in America. At some point, it says engineered by Milwaukee Tool, professionally made in China. But Milwaukee Tool, Brookfield, WI, USA. So it's an American tool, sold in Australia, made in China. But anyway, it did the job. So I was able to, because I was actually had the 19mm on it earlier, and I could feel when I was doing that, I was damaging the nut. I don't know if you can see that from there. So I could feel it in the spanner. The spanner was turning a little bit, but nothing was happening under there. When I had a look, I was like, nah, I'm not going to go any further. I'll get the right tool for the job. And so yeah, getting this off. Now I can get this apart so I can change that TX valve. Pulled the TX valve out there, and have a look at that. It's terrible. I did not expect that actually. So I'm going to just have a look at that, see if there's any metal filings on it. You can see that. Everything I put onto that white cloth didn't really look like it, but definitely some metal shavings in there, so I'm going to blow the line on the low side only, and yeah, just go with that. That's all I can do. What I'm doing now is, and this is just guesswork, I don't know, I know there's a proper way to flush it, but I don't have the flush for the system, so I'm going to use air. Now, clean cloth over that because I want to see what comes out. I'm just going to blow air through the piping to go through the evaporator and out through the cold side here and all the return, and see if I catch much. If anything, we'll have a look, but the outcome is going to be I'm going to do the aircon anyway, but I just want to have a look at what comes out and hopefully get some rubbish out. Now I'll put a adjustable gauge on this, so no more than 20 psi. I really don't know if I can blast it with just full on pressure, but I don't want to take the chance. And I figured the car runs on anywhere between 10 and 45 psi when running, so I was pretty safe to say 20 psi. So I made my own little end on there to go on so I can plug over and blow the line. Okay, bit of loose stuff there. We'll have a proper look at that in a second. I'll just put it aside. Need a bit of acetone on that cloth, and another bit of clean cloth to clean in there a bit. Just trying to give this a bit of a clean in here. One more time for good measure. Okay, now I'm going to replace this seal. There for a sec. Okay, I didn't buy any refrigeration oil, I should have. So I'm going to try and salvage a little bit from this, just to get some refrigeration oil on those rings, on those seals. Okay, that's more than enough. I expected a lot more to coming up, but anyway, it's okay. Alright, so I'm just going to let that seal have a soak in there for a minute, but the size I'm using there is 11 by 2, if that means anything to you, but that's the kit I use. I've got other kits for just in case if you've got different sizes that this might not have, but this generally covers everything. Okay, that's the stuff that came out when I blasted it. That breaks apart. Alright, there's a few metal filings in the system. Nothing that I think is worth being concerned about. Well, every little file matters, but you sort of, the TX valve itself, I'll explain to you in a minute, also acts like a filter, so a lot of it will be caught up there if anything gets through at all. But if you really needed to, like if you're out in the sticks and you had no choice, it's still better to give that a good clean and reuse it than to just leave the old one in there. You still have a better AC. Not that I'd recommend it, I'm just saying if you had no other choice, it would be a better option to clean it. That is really small holes, so it'd have to be very fine files to get through that, if at all. And there's a couple of seals in there, I might just give that a bit of a soak as well there. There we go. Alright, be careful of that. I gave it a good push in and it's gone right up. It went past a certain point, so I'm going to try and get that out. So just, yeah, my bad. Don't do that. I was able to get that out along those pliers. I'm going to put it back in along those pliers too. Because I want to feel that. There's two seals on this, so I want to feel twice. So you go too far in. The happy place is there. That's flush with there. That's its happy place. I'll get this seal here on there. Just a little bit of refrigeration oil going onto the thread. That's it. Side by side. The power connection on the new one is on top, the old one's underneath. Never mind the dog's barking, sorry about that. I can't help that, not my dog's. Front on. Some small differences, but not real big. No, I mean like across here and so forth. You know, that there is round, that's square, that's what I mean. It's not, no big difference there. The main issue is the connection being on top, but that shouldn't be a problem. Yeah, everything looks right. Taking the back off this, it's already charged with gas in it too. I don't know how they managed to do that, but just be careful as you do it. You don't want to blow all the oil out, or part of the oil. You want to try and keep, because it's pre-charged with oil as well, so you want to keep that. Okay, I shouldn't need to change those seals, they're brand new. But I will put this on here. I'm going to pull this apart later. Alright, so putting this back in, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to just, because these bottom bolts need to go in first, I'm just going to give them a dab of grease. Just on the beginning of the thread, it's enough. That's going to feed over as it goes in. Okay, because these are the tricky ones that need to go on first. That's how it came apart, so I can only assume it's going to be like that when I'm putting it back together. Put that in. Another one I did there. Okay. And I've got them in place. I'll put this on. Now it looks like this was made like this on purpose. So you get that in the thread there. And then put this underneath this here. So that will line up there. And one of the bolts fell out. Okay. Okay, let's tighten that up. Okay. That's on and off. I'm going to tighten it once I put the compressor bolted back on. But I did drop that bottom bolt, so I'm going to try and get that back in first. Now that's probably the better way to do it, because I did lose some oil, but it is what it is. Okay, definitely connect the back of the compressor first, because you can still get the bolts in. Okay, so they're all in, just using the small ratchet to start off with. Let's tighten up this back one. Made it fairly tight, because that thread goes in a long way, so should be alright. The camera's touching the car, hang on, just to try and stop that wobble. Okay, so now I'm just going to nip up all these bolts with a decent ratchet. Okay, well that's that. That's all back together. Now I have lost, let me give it a look. I have lost maybe about 10 or 20 mil of oil, so it shouldn't be that great a drama, not a lot. But still, if I had just put that pipes back onto the back of the compressor first, instead of worrying about those bolts, I probably wouldn't have lost any oil at all, so keep that in mind. I'll get the vacuum pump onto this while I put the belt back on. Made the mistake once before of putting the vacuum pump here, and it made circle points from the vibration on my valve cover. Normally I don't do the high side as well, but because the system's been open to everything and I use the compressor and everything today, I'm just doing the high side and low side. And I let that pull vacuum for an hour. Putting the belts back in, always a pain in the butt though. It made a liar of me this time. Normally you struggle with the belt, and this time it wanted to play, so good stuff. Alright, so the system's holding vacuum, which is a good thing. And while I'm at this point, I've just given the condenser a clean as well, just with soft water though. I don't want to blast it and bend those little vents, but won't have the opportunity to give that a clean once the radiator's in. Okay, I think it's needless to say, I'm not going to charge the system until after I can start the car. So it's holding a vacuum, so I'm just going to leave it like that and put the car back together. Now, I've already degreased it, so just soft hose, rinse it all out. Easy enough. Still got minus 30 on the vacuum, so there's no air leaks. That's ready to be gassed. Just need to tighten up things around here, check over everything, make sure it's all done right, connect the cooling system up for the power fans, put some coolant in her, and then we can charge the system. Put the coolant in now, so again, liquid intelligence for the coolant. Anybody who watches my videos knows there's only two products I use. It's either Penrite or liquid intelligence. Sometimes I might explore something else, but most of the time it's just those two products, or those two manufacturers. What a shot, eh? Spot on the full level, but after the car runs that'll go down. But it's enough now to start the car, let it run, put some refrigerant in. Alrighty, we're all done and dusted. Aircon's working really well, 7.6 degrees. Still dropping. Happy with that, happy with everything. AC is working great, radiator's not leaking, everything's happy days. Alrighty, thanks for watching guys, sorry it took a bit long this one, I'll catch you in the next one, cheers. Mate. Right, well I'm calling it a night, of course. Okay, so right tool for the job. I had to go and find myself a flare nut spanner, it was 19mm. I went to Super Cheap Auto, tool... Alright, okay, so I just want to make this job I'm doing here fine. Don't drop the bolt. fair income. Get a load of this. Now you wouldn't hear about this. For some reason, I've got a magnet under my car and the bloody bolt grabbed the magnet as it was falling down and never touched the ground.